Hey guys, Dom here. So as I get a little bit older this week, I wanted to talk to you about that topic that most guys will either talk about or they'll just completely shun, and that's your your testosterone, and what the hell happens with it as we get older. You see, as we get older, your body does naturally start to reduce the level of testosterone, and there are several reasons for that. One is simply aging. There's a gland inside the boys that simply stops working as efficiently as it was, and therefore it doesn't produce as much. Go figure, as we get older, things start like to happen. Number two, we experience hormonal changes. No, again, it's not just a girl thing, it's a guy thing also too. So there is a thing simply called the sex hormone-binding globulin. Basically, it's a little top of goo that will bind to your T in the blood, and therefore when that happens, it makes your testosterone less available to be used around the body. That happens as we get older. The third thing, and probably the most important thing for us, and particularly for me, is its lifestyle. So if you are leading a sedentary lifestyle, you're not doing much, you've got a pretty shit diet, you're not getting out, you're not moving, you're not getting sunlight, all of that stuff together affects our T levels. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. The reality is we can not necessarily reverse that, but we can slow that down and maybe even get it back to normal. We just got to do a few simple things. First thing is regular exercise. Go figure. Yep, when we're doing things like strength training, resistance training, that's part of the process that will help us naturally build up our testosterone levels. Straightforward. Healthy diet, right? So eating, not necessarily a vegan, a paleo, a keto, or any of that stuff. Just eating a diet that works for you, but a diet that is healthy. Less processed shit. So the middle aisles of the grocery we're staying away from. We're eating the fruit and vegetables. We're eating the lean meats and cuts. We're eating the things like omega-3. All the stuff that will go towards helping our body produce great gut flora and therefore aid us in better management of our testosterone levels. Weight management. Yeah, I mean, we've got to look at keeping the tools in the tool shed, and therefore we've got to start to manage our weight. So as we start to pack it on, particularly guys, we tend to carry it around the gut area. We've got to keep an eye on that, all right? We can't just let it get away. Now, weight management can come in several different ways. So we might add some lean muscle mass and add a bit of kilos in the scale, but also too, we don't want to go down the other path of just looking at the number on the scale and dieting down to simply get skinny and weak, because that's also not going to help us, because that introduces things like stress, and that's the next factor. We need to start looking at the stress levels in our thing. There are some good stresses. So exercise can be a good stress, over-exercising can be a bad stress. How are we managing the day-to-day? And as a dad of teenage kids, hey, I can quite easily fly off the handle, and therefore that does not help in the household regardless of what happens. So therefore we've got to try and help manage not only our own stress, but the stresses within the family. The final thing is, yep, we can go down the path of seeking some medical help. We can look at things like TRT, or testosterone replacement therapy. But for me, I want you to leave that to the end. Look at all the other things that you can do and come back to it. I know there's some advocates out there that say, I want to do that. And some people go down that path. I want to be jacked. I want to be able to get it up, or whatever the case is not happening with them, and that's great, but that should also be the last thing. If we should look at the stuff that we can control and manage. Finally, things like getting regular checkups, looking at your good mental health, all of that type of stuff, that will help you all go towards helping us manage and maintain and maybe even bring back our T levels. But let's go back to number 1 and 2. Good healthy diet and regular exercise. Stuff that you and I can both control. Stuff that you and I can start today.